more than happy to welcome now the one and only Billy Rennenkamp to the show.
Hello, Prague. It's nice to see you. I'm going to be talking about the Cosmos Hub, the OG application-specific blockchain, and the founding member of the IBC gang. Because the Cosmos Hub's vision and purpose is really to make successful an internet of blockchains. It's created the technology that's made all of the projects in this room possible today. First about me a little bit. My name is Billy Rennenkamp. I am from Louisville, Kentucky. So if you want to talk about bluegrass music, thoroughbred horse racing, or bourbon whiskey, feel free to put those questions in the prompt at the end of this talk, would be great. Previously, I was the grants manager at the Interchain Foundation. I'm currently the Cosmos Hub team lead at Interchain GmbH. I was also the DevRel engineer at Tendermint Inc. Prior to that, I worked on bonding curves and early AMMs on Ethereum, NFTs. I did web development, as well as a background in electronic art. Independently, like all Cosmos people who have side projects, I have a NFT gallery called Folia App, and I was the founder of Clover's Network, a generative NFT project. But today I'm going to be talking about what's coming to the Cosmos Hub. This is a little bit of a preview of a kind of white paper 2.0 that's being worked on currently. I'm going to talk about it in the context of the next 3 upgrades. There's the Rho upgrade about public goods. There's the Lambda upgrade about interchain services, especially interchain security. And then Epsilon upgrade, which is all about atom monetary policy. So first, the Rho upgrade, referring to it as the public goods upgrade, but it's also a bit about governance. One of the first updates is to the governance module itself. What's exciting about this is that it makes the governance module more like a shared account. It's as if the community pool and the Cosmos Hub blockchain is a community, is an Atom DAO. It means that it can execute arbitrary messages instead of just proposal types. So previously, you would do a spend proposal in order to send money from the community pool to somebody. Now it acts much more like an account, which uses the bank module to just transfer money from the governance module account to a new user account. One of the things that becomes really exciting here is that it has access to a message like delegate. So this is the message that a user submits when they want to delegate their atoms to a validator, secure the network, and start earning staking rewards on behalf. Now that the community pool can use the governance module updates, it can execute a message delegate itself. So if you're a public goods validator who's really giving back to the community by creating block explorers or different things that everyone benefits from, you kind of deserve to get public goods delegations. You can come to the community pool, make a proposal, and say, hey, I'm really giving back. I think that the community pool should delegate some atoms to me. Should that proposal pass, not only would you be subject to receiving a substantial increase to your delegations and earning more as a reward, but the community pool itself starts earning rewards. We're able to activate the atoms in the community pool and leverage it in different ways. And I'll talk a bit more about other ways that I'd like to see the atoms in the community pool leveraged. But that's a pretty exciting one that you get out of the box with the governance module update. The other change in the governance module that's exciting is the fact that you can now batch messages into a single proposal. So similar to the way that a user can batch messages into a single transaction when they submit them to a Cosmos SDK blockchain, the governance proposal can have multiple messages at the same time. One example of this is, for instance, an upgrade proposal, where the actual software that runs the blockchain gets voted on. You could imagine that the team or the people who contributed to that might say, hey, if you really like this work that we did, we'd also like to be paid for it. You can combine a spend proposal with the upgrade proposal, and they get voted on atomically. All of them pass, or none of them pass. Another new update to the public goods Rho upgrade is the message authorization, I also call it the MOTH module, for Interchain accounts. So this is the second part of the Interchain account story. Earlier this year, the Interchain accounts host module went live as part of the Lambda upgrade on the Cosmos Hub. The second part is called the controller account. So with the host module, it means that right now in the Cosmos Hub, another blockchain would be able to create an account on the Cosmos Hub and start acting as if it were a real user. With the controller module, it means that now the Cosmos Hub can create an account on a corresponding blockchain. So for instance, there's the Quicksilver blockchain that you might have heard already, or I don't know if Joe's spoken today. They're going to be a controller chain who has an account on the Cosmos Hub that does things controlled by their entire blockchain. Flipped around with the message authorization module, the Cosmos Hub controls an account that exists on other blockchains. Some of the example use cases that I'm excited to see initially will be things like the Cosmos Hub buying carbon credits to offset the impact that it's had on projects like Region Network. You can also imagine the Cosmos Hub beginning to participate in different DeFi protocols across the Internet of Blockchains. A great example would be that atoms inside the community pool could go over to Kava or Agoric and be deposited into a collateralized debt pool, generate a stable token. That stable token could then go and buy more atoms, be put into a CDP, more stable token, more atoms. It's basically a way for the Cosmos Hub to bet on its own success. If the Cosmos Hub doesn't believe in Atom, who else would? And really, it should be able to benefit from this in the massive sort of expanding realm of DeFi projects that are expanding across the internet of blockchains. It also means that technically the community pool and the Cosmos Hub could participate in governance on other chains. If the community pool becomes activated and starts acquiring tokens for other projects, the Cosmos Hub could be a large stakeholder in those projects. If, for instance, the community pool had Osmosis tokens, with Interchain accounts, it could take them to the Osmosis chain, delegate them to a validator, start earning staking rewards, but also vote on proposals. The Cosmos Hub could have a real say on the different blockchains that exist across the ecosystem. One sort of expanding brain meme idea is the idea that technically the Cosmos Hub could try to register as a validator on another blockchain. There's a few kinks to work out there, but it really does open up possibilities for really crazy designs in which entire blockchains might be block producers for other blockchains. Another module coming in the row upgrade is the groups module. So this is an application level multi-sig account. We currently have cryptographic multi-sig accounts, but they're a bit clunky. One thing that you really get out of a application level multi-sig is that you can swap membership. Means that if somebody who's participating in that multi-sig should be removed or somebody new needs to be added, these can be adjusted. This is really exciting as well beyond the use at sort of a DAO level. If you want to use the groups module for a personal account, it means that you can use account recovery. We all know that the user experience of blockchains is one of the largest barriers to mass adoption because of things like account recovery. If you lose your private key, it's over. With account recovery, you'd be able to have multiple accounts controlling a single account. If you lose one key, you use a different key to remove that key or add a new one. You also have adjustable voting policies. So this is really valuable, of course, in a DAO setup in which different members need to have different voting policies. How much participation do you need from which members before something passes? But it's also useful, again, for that individual use. It basically reproduces two-factor authentication. If you go back to this example where you have 3 keys controlling one groups module account, you control all those keys. One is on your laptop, one is on your mobile phone, and one is in cold storage. You're able to limit the execution of accounts until it's been approved by not only your phone, but also your laptop, reproducing the security that we've come to rely on inside of the Web 2 space. It's also ideal for working groups funded by the community pool. So DAOs in general, small groups of people coordinating and participating to execute upon a shared mission. The Builders Foundation, previously known as the IBC DAO, is a likely user of the groups module. This is a project in which they're accepting funds from many different blockchains in order to public good fund the development of different IBC endeavors. By having it on the Cosmos Hub and interfacing with Interchain accounts, it means that they actually don't need to deploy multi-sigs on every single blockchain that they're collecting funds from. They can control all of the accounts that they use on all the different blockchains from a single point. And it means that if a membership changes on that single point, they don't need to go and change the membership at all of those other places. One stretch goal for the row upgrade is called the budget module. Essentially, X% of block rewards and fees are distributed to an account address every Y blocks for a duration of Z blocks. It's essentially streaming funding, and it sits right between the mint module and the distribution module. So typically, during block production, 2% of block rewards are siphoned off to the community pool to be managed by the blockchain. You could take some percentage of those and stream them to some other address. It could be a groups module, it could be a working group, could be for development of open source technology like the Cosmos SDK, Tendermint, IBC, or Cosmosm. It could also be streamed funding for relayers. That would offset their fees and operation costs, or streaming funding for node operators, because everybody deserves access to a public endpoint, but we shouldn't all suffer for the people who make it available, who get hit with DDoS attacks. It becomes a tragedy of the commons. This is all important because the Cosmos Hub is and has been a coordination point for public goods funding and open source development. It means that if we leverage this system even further, we can have truly decentralized development where there's never a single point of failure or a single entity, if they go down, that this critical technology doesn't continue to get developed. What's also great is that if we really nail it and getting this pipeline for public goods funding through the hub, other projects can leverage it. It goes beyond Atom. The same infrastructure and governance can be used to coordinate funding on behalf of many networks. I mentioned relayers a minute ago. Currently, there's pairwise agreements between relayers and the foundations of each of the different networks that they facilitate. This is a huge operational overhead. We could reproduce the same infrastructure on the hub for paying relayers to keep the Internet of Blockchains running smoothly, and let all of the other projects who want to make sure their routes are serviced correctly leverage the hub to pay for these. The hub can really become used for the public goods infrastructure across the Internet of Blockchains. So that's a summary of the row upgrade. I call it the public goods upgrade or the governance upgrade. After that is the Lambda upgrade. You've probably heard a lot of talk about interchain security. And so this is under the category of interchain services. I'm going to talk about interchain security relatively briefly, though, because there's going to be another talk from Marius Polk, which is really great. It goes really deep into interchain security. But things you need to understand is that the hub is what we call a provider chain in interchain security. It's providing security. We also have consumer chains, which, as the name would suggest, consume security. Atom holders at the hub level will vote on whether or not a consumer chain should receive the security of the hub. Should that pass, the validator set is sent over IBC to this new consumer chain, and that populates the registry of who is allowed to produce blocks on this child chain. You replicate the validator set. Projects which will likely launch with interchain security this year are ones like Quicksilver that I mentioned earlier. Joe Bowman also had a talk. And after Prop 69, when we got a loud, clear call from the community that they don't want to see CosmWasm deployed on the hub directly, but that we should be leveraging this technology to have a separation of concerns, likely we'll see a governance-gated CosmWasm chain as one of the first consumer chains. So the same Atom-denominated validator set gets replicated over IBC, but also the slashing offenses get carried back up to the hub. So if you're producing blocks on this child chain and you have downtime or you double sign a block, evidence of that misdeed is carried up to the provider chain, and you are slashed in a similar way that you would be if you committed that offense on the hub itself. The upside, of course, is that fees and rewards from these consumer chains are also ported up to the provider chain, which essentially looks like a constant airdrop to validators and the delegators. Last, I'm going to talk about Epsilon Upgrade. So this is the monetary policy upgrade. Just a disclaimer, this is an overview of developing ideas. This whole talk is essentially a preview of an upcoming white paper, what we see coming down the pipeline for the Cosmos Hub, and this is the area that needs the most input from the community, and actually my largest call to action is for everybody in this room. These decisions are all going to be subject to governance, and the discussion is extremely encouraged. There's forum.cosmos.network, which is a central place to really add your questions, add your comments, and also get involved. This is also likely going to span beyond the Epsilon upgrade. We might see some of this stuff take place before the Epsilon upgrade, but blockchains are living things. So this is going to be a continually developing aspect. Let's briefly talk about what the current Atom economics look like. Atom is a staking token. In a way, it's a membership token for the best-in-class block producers in the world. Most validators out there got their start on the Cosmos Hub, cut their teeth, and became experts. And right now, it's sort of a membership criteria for really best-in-class validators. It's also a fee token. It's primarily a fee used to pay for block space inside of the Cosmos Hub. And the more actions that take place on the Cosmos Hub or interchain secured zones, the more benefit it is for Atom holders from the fees that are paid up to the people securing the network. It's also a governance token, of course. It actually dictates what happens on the Cosmos Hub and why. Similar to the way that the staking token is sort of a membership criteria for the best validators in the world, the governance token is sort of a membership criteria for some of the best users in the world. Some of the brightest, boldest developers, participants, and investors in the Cosmos blockchain ecosystem are all represented by the fact that they hold atoms. For this purpose, they've been targeted repeatedly for airdrops. If airdrops are seen as user acquisitions, these are some of the most valuable users in the world. Of course, the Atom and the blockchain also operates as an on-ramp and an off-ramp. And that way, it's really the access point and the starting page of the Internet of Blockchains. I'm sure many of you have the experience. Somebody says, I'm interested in this project. I'm interested in the Cosmos ecosystem. How do I get started? Usually, you tell them to go to a centralized exchange. It's one of the best listed across all the space. Acquire some Atom, come to the hub, and then start using IBC. Start checking out all these new apps, explore the Internet of Blockchains. But it really is the starting point. And the stopping point. If you want to get the off-ramp, go back to the meet space, you come back to the hub, you use centralized exchanges the same way. But what's important is we want to make sure that while the Cosmos Hub and the Atom has produced so much value across the ecosystem, that there's upshot in the Atom itself. How do we correlate the value of Atom with the value Atom has created? One thought is to ensure that it remains as a reserve currency, similar to the ETH is money meme. Make sure that it has the deepest liquidity pools, that it's able to sort of be correlated by the prices with all of the projects and all the tokens that it supports, that it has attachment between the various successful endeavors made possible with the public goods Cosmos technology. One version of this is sort of describing or thinking about what like an asset basket backed Atom would look like. Something like in the community pool, buying, leveraging, collecting a bunch of different tokens and projects and making sure that these are sort of core to the economics of how Atom functions. Really, the important part here is we want to make sure that rising tides lift all boats. One very concrete way that's being thought about for how to do that is codenamed HAL for Hub Atom Liquidity. It's a protocol-controlled value mechanism in which Atom inflation is spent on acquiring pairs of Atom-aligned LP tokens. You could imagine beginning with projects like Interchain Secured Zones, which are extremely aligned with Atom and the Hub. And so a budget of Atoms is spent on buying LP tokens at a discount in order to acquire more and more and more liquidity for these different Atom-paired pools. As such, there's going to be correlated upshot, and the LP tokens themselves will earn fees for the community pool over time. After beginning with Interchain Secured Zones, you could imagine looking to the most closely attached to Atom, projects which give back to the development of the open source technology. And you could even go all the way to think about extending this to purely strategic endeavors. That's what really brings me to my next section. Leveraging Atom as an asset. And this is my call to action for all of you. Whether you're a developer or not, you can participate in the development of Cosmos through the community pool. You can activate the community pool, especially with Interchain accounts. You can sort of use the Cosmos Hub as an Atom DAO and implement strategies to leverage the funds there. The Cosmos Hub is a fund that you're a member of, and there's ways to leverage those through working groups, groups module, that really should go beyond what the Cosmos Hub is currently doing. Might need to make radical new proposals. Maybe we increase the community pool 10x. Maybe we change the inflation. These are all levers that you have access to as Atom holders and participants in the Cosmos ecosystem. One thing that really I'm excited to see about is leveraging especially the venture capitalists and the degens who says, what's going to make it worthwhile for me to spend my time and my brain power making this hub valuable? Go to the forum at cosmos.network and discuss it. What would it be for you to be worthwhile getting a chunk of Atoms, doing something with it, taking a cut of it and putting the profits back? I mean, there's so many sort of like strategies here that are completely underutilized. This is a big chunk of money that could be used for different things besides public goods. I mean, making Atom interesting and valuable is a public good itself. Basically, ask not what Atom can do for you, but what you can do for Atom. So again, go to the forum.cosmos.network. I've made 3 new posts, each for the upgrades. Inside of the posts, I listed just bullet points of what's inside of the roadmap at a technical level. But this is where you can begin asking questions, giving comments, making suggestions, and really getting involved with the development of the Cosmos Hub over the next year and beyond. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Billy. We indeed have many questions for you, so again, we won't be able to pick all of the questions, but I think you will be around today, so people will be able to reach out to you, right?
Yep, I'll be around.
Perfect. So the very first question is it's like regarding a very hot topic at the moment. So do you personally feel that Cosmosm is well developed enough to have been added to the hub?
I do. So as the team lead of the Cosmos Hub, I basically was making that proposal to get a signal from the community. Whether you want it or not is in many ways not my business. I need to know how to develop or how to coordinate the development that happens across the ecosystem. As an Atom holder, I personally think that Cosmosm and the Hub was safe enough and would be a good move, but I don't think it's like a make or break strategy. Either of them I think have really great outcomes, and I'm pretty happy with either one. I do lean towards Cosmosm being on the Hub because I think it's safe enough. I think it's real enough. But I mean, I got to say, I am glad as an engineer that it's like less work for this upgrade.
A follow-up question regarding Cosmosm. I have to reconstruct the question a little bit to bring it into perspective. So I mean, there was a discussion on the hub whether like adding COSM WASM or not, and Jay Kwon said that people will receive an airdrop if they will vote no or no with veto. So the question is, how do you feel about this and about his opinions?
I mean, it doesn't set a great precedent, but you know, it's funny. It makes me think of the blockchain wars article that Gavin wrote a little while ago. And like, we're still in this very friendly zone of blockchains. A lot of people are happy to like provide time, money, space, expertise to other people for free. There's a lot of collaboration. And I mean, I'd like to take advantage of this time period as much as possible where you have goodwill from everybody. But it does point to the fact that, you know, eventually we can get to very sort of antagonistic places. And the point of this technology is actually to be okay in those scenarios. You know, it's all supposed to be battle-proof, or in the worst case scenarios, it's optimizing for the worst possible behavior out there. And having some people actually start to throw rocks like that is maybe a sort of good way to start testing those assumptions. You know, maybe we start getting people to accelerate private voting, different ways to prevent this kinds of essential attacks.
Interesting thought. And now another question is there any movement to the feature to update validators' operator keys?
Great question. We have a check-in on that topic regularly. One of the engineers at Occlusion, I think, was the last one working on it. I can get a more concrete update after the next guy stand up.
Last question. Why are you so pretty?
Wow. I love you, Prague.
Yeah. Billy Rennenkamp.
Thanks very much.